So what do the Easter bunny and Easter eggs have to do with Jesus' resurrection and empty tomb? Is this a grand conspiracy to get Christians to take their focus off Christ and worship a pagan rabbit deity? If you think Easter is weird, apparently the Saturday before Easter, Greeks on the island of Corfu decorate clay pots filled with red ribbons, and they throw them out of their window to symbolize an earthquake, like the one that occurred when the tomb of Christ was opened and he was resurrected. The Easter bunny seems to have come from a time when pagans would worship the deity Euster, which took the form of a rabbit. Euster was a goddess of springtime and was associated with rabbits, pastels, springtime, and celebrations. This sounds already a little sus, right? So why are Christians wrapped up in this pagan foolishness? It's kind of similar to Christmas and Halloween, where Christians attempted to kind of rebrand these pagan activities. By blending some Christian traditions with pagan traditions, they hope to take over these events, kind of like Debo took over Red's bike. The goal was to be more palatable and introduce people to the gospel. So what does the Easter bunny and eggs have to do with Jesus? Not a doggone thing. And if you know me, when it comes to faith, our theology and practice needs to come from Scripture. I want to see the chapter and verse. So there's no Easter bunnies or eggs in the Bible. And as a matter of fact, rabbits were unclean, so the Jews wouldn't have used them or elevated them in any way, certainly wouldn't have eaten them. What we've done is kind of weave Christian elements and ideas into these existing pagan traditions. But before you swear this off, there might actually be some biblical precedent for doing things like this. You see in Acts 17, when Paul is in Athens and he's strolling around, he's noticing numerous statues that were idols that the people worshiped at the time. And in the midst of these idols, there was one that was erected that had the inscription, "To the unknown God." You see, they wanted to cover all their bases, so they had all these idols represented, and just in case they missed one, they wanted to have that base covered too. So Paul uses this pagan symbol to point them to Christ. He said, let me tell you about the God who made the world and everything in it, and he uses this opportunity to share the gospel. Brothers and sisters, this is key. Whether you celebrate Easter or not is up to you and your conscience. However, if you do, it is imperative that you point to the reason for the season. Easter is about Christ and his resurrection. And without the resurrection, there will be no Christianity because it's foundational to our faith. 1 Corinthians 10:31 says, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do everything to the glory of God and constantly point people toward Jesus. Now, if you want to know more about the gospel and the meaning of salvation, why don't you watch this next video? I'll see you over there. But until then, I hope you will be strong and courageous in living out your faith today.